that we need to continue to stand strong to defend everybody's rights and freedoms.
Hey guys, how you doing today? Woo. We've had rough weather in the last couple days. I didn't mean to put out a video for a couple days now, but it's been freezing rain, windstorms, just been downright nasty. But here we are. And well, I'm sure you won't be surprised that I'm actually speaking on this topic. And it's very difficult for me to do this topic and not get angry. But we're going to give it a shot, okay? I'm going to give it a shot and try and be the devil's advocate. Fair warning on this video, the ground is very, very unstable. So there might be excessive shaking in this video. So I apologize for that in advance. Yeah, it just went up to my shin. Oh, there we go again. Maybe I should just stay on the path. Let's get to the path and then we'll stay on it. All right. Oh, God. All right. So, I'm going to try and play devil's advocate on this one. All right. I want someone to justify to me how this is helping Canadian society. You see, as we become adults, we're free to choose to live our lives any way we want. But we're allowed to raise our children in our own values and such. But it's becoming more and more apparent that that's not actually factual. You see, if you don't agree with a certain group, you become what's the word? A hater, basically. Well, that's not true either. All right, let's stop beating around the bush, Mr. Windmoor. I'd like to justify why the need to protect people that choose to read stories to children and perform shows for children using a method reserved for adults. I don't understand this logic. I don't understand it at all. We have this obsession with having to accommodate the whims of people that make a choice for their own life, and they're trying to impose that choice upon children. Okay? Now, people are going to call me transphobic. That's far from true. I mean, that's just you not wanting to actually argue the merits of what I'm saying. Because frankly, I don't care. Just like most Canadians don't care what you choose to do with your life. It's your life. Do with it as you wish. But stop trying to transition our children. Okay? This is where people start saying, no, you shouldn't do this. Now, if I turn around as a straight white male, walked down to my local library and said, hey, I want to hold an event where I read children's books to children. Do you know how fast there would be a investigation on me to see if I have any history of inappropriate conduct in the presence of children? It would be like immediately. The library would refuse me instantly. But if somebody else declares themselves a woman, dresses up in drag, and says, I want to read children's books to children, this is okay. Without an investigation. And if anybody wants to disagree with it, the NDP government, or the NDP party in Ontario wants to charge you $25,000. In Calgary, they broke your civil rights to protest against such thing. And in Vancouver, when you get assaulted by them for just holding a sign, the police mock you and laugh at you. And then the police chief comes up and makes a statement in regards to you mocking the police officer for laughing at you when you were assaulted. How is this good for society? You have a huge swath of people that are opposed to this ideology. Okay? Well, not necessarily the ideology. Do what you want as an adult. But leave the kids alone. That's what they're saying. If the kids choose to become trans, well, great on them. Whatever. It's impartial. But don't force it on them. This is what China did to the Uyghurs. And we stood up against China on this. Or so we pretended to, anyway. Didn't actually do anything. But let's get into the weeds of exactly why I'm making this video. I say justify it to me. Let me ask you something. How does this help society in any way, shape, or form? Let's use some concrete things about society to discuss it. Okay? Now, the government has been running around screaming and yelling at Putin for invading Ukraine. They've been threatening Putin. Hell, the ambassador to Canada got called into Putin's office. Windmoor, this doesn't do anything to do with trans. Yes, it does. Give me a second. Okay? Putin called the ambassador to Canada to the office to discuss comments made by Jolie. Okay? Now, at the same time, as our government is, harassing a foreign government over their policies and their actions and such, they are minimizing our military. Okay? Shipping our equipment offshore, shorting. This is an entirely different conversation. My question is, you made this policy where anybody could dress as they so choose within the military. Right? How many transgender people have joined the military since the enactment of this policy? I don't see a whole lot, but I do see a decline in people signing up. So, let me ask you another question. Seeing as this is so important for society, how many transgender bricklayers do you know? Windmoor, that's blue collar work. Maybe they don't want to work in that industry. Okay, that's fair. That's true. How many transgender innovative inventors have created substantial inventions for Canadian society? Well, that's not fair. Maybe they don't want to invent. Maybe they're just cultural. Okay, all right. How many cultural events do regular citizens get protested at versus transgender events, cultural events? Let me give you a really good example. How many times has Christmas been protested? Santa Claus been protested. But yet every single transgender one gets protested. You see, they create this culture that a wide swath of Canadians want nothing to do with. And they try to say, well, you need to deal with it. Well, we don't want nothing to do with it. That's why there's so many quiet people about this. I got people coming. I'll be back in a minute. So, this is a group of people who demand that you respect their rights. Okay, well, we didn't disrespect your rights. In fact, the alternative is true. You're disrespecting the rights of everyday Canadians. You're disrespecting the rights of children. You're disrespecting their parental rights. Now, because you've chosen a lifestyle that's not conducive to having your own children, you've taken it upon yourself to indoctrinate children of people that have lived a lifestyle that includes having their own children. You've decided that because these people choose to have children, that they must accept you trying to indoctrinate them. I'm not sure how that works. Hold on, I think those people are coming. Now, our federal government has decided to invest into a theater, $280,000 of taxpayer dollars for this theater in Vancouver over the last 5 years. And now they want to hold these book reading clubs there. So now you're taking taxpayer dollars to support an ideology that the majority of Canadians do not partake in. Oh, hold on. Nope, they went the other way. Okay, so you're taking taxpayer dollars for this. Now, let's get to the crux of this, okay? You say anyone that disagrees with you is transphobic. Well, I've already said this. This is further from the truth than anything. It's you not being able to discuss the merits of your actions or the argument at hand to try and show that we are the bad guys. Okay? When you go to these, let me explain. Okay? When you look at these events, okay? And I've seen 2 events where people have went. One, this was in the US. The gentleman was trying to ask questions and he had a microphone and he was recording and asking questions, and this transgender person punched him in the face. The police laughed at it and let the transgender person go. If I had punched somebody in the face that I disagreed with, I guarantee I would have been arrested immediately. Then we have the gentleman who in Ottawa went to one of these events and ended up getting his arm broken, but just recently in Vancouver was standing around with a sign. He was being interviewed by someone else, and the transgender people were standing there screaming in his ear, screaming over top of the interview. Then a pushing match started. Got right into his face, so we tried to push the person back a bit so that he could have his personal bubble, and they assaulted him. The police, standing not 20 feet away, laughed at the man. Meanwhile, the transgender person walked away from this. They assaulted this man, and the police did nothing. When the video was put out showing that the police officer laughing at him, the police chief came out and called it disrespectful to the police for pointing out their unprofessional conduct. Now, we've also seen recently in the US 2 major incidents showing that promoting this ideology and let me see, what's the word here? Trying to think of the word. The mental anguish that people have developed over this and decided that this is their outlet has created a situation where now 2 children, one went into Nashville and created horrific crime in a Nashville school because under the guise of transgender and bullying. Well, you know, we all been bullied in school, but they use transgender as their excuse why they can pull this off, and our government decides that it's guns that are the problem. it's not guns that are the problem. It's mental instability of people. Then there was another incident that was thwarted by police with a manifesto, and it took them 2 weeks to announce it to the public that they thwarted this by another transgender person who was going to perform pretty much the identical situation as in Nashville, but this person was in Colorado Springs. Okay, you're creating an environment that is hostile to the transgender community. You're creating an environment that's hostile to regular society. Okay. There was another point I wanted to bring up, and I'm trying to remember what it was just off the top of my head here. Here, let's go look at this guy. Where is he? Where is he? Should be... Is he in the screen? I think I passed him. Yeah, I passed him. Oh, you can just barely make him out. He's right over there. Okay. So anyway, I remember what it is now. So if we can have these story times by transgender people, and these shows by transgender people, why don't we allow for strippers to do story time? Story time with strippers. Why would that be wrong? I think it would be appropriate, considering the method that we're currently employing. Okay, strippers are people too. It's a profession. It's something that some other girls are proud to do. So why not encourage that? Let's talk about maybe brothels for bedtime. Would that be appropriate? Because, you know, brothels are an enclosed space, you know, safe space for people to engage in fantasy ideas, and seems appropriate, you know, and they tend to all have beds in their rooms, so, you know, it's just, and it's a profession that people are proud of. You know, they make good money, make really good money. So, you know, but we wouldn't accept that. So why is it okay to sexualize children for transgender, but not sexualize children with strippers and brothels? Why do we put PG-18 or whatever on sexually explicit material? It's because we found it inappropriate. My next question, well, no, that's not relevant to this. And besides, I'm already freaking, like, what, 17 minutes long here. I'm going to end this here. And just food for thought. Come on. I'd like somebody to justify to me why this is okay. I would like to hear arguments on the points that I've raised where this is acceptable and how this is improving society in Canada, because that's the end goal. If we're going to promote something, a cultural shift in Canada, it needs to be a way that improves society in Canada and not a way that divides Canadians further, because from where I'm standing, that's all this is divisionary tactics. Anyway, please get back to me. I'd love to hear your side of the story. Welcome to the Fringe.